Good afternoon, Micah here. I will give a quick tour before I start talking about things that I'm working on. I will show you a few things that I'm starting, things that have been sitting around for forever that seem to want to get done. Don't know if I'll get to them. Let's give it a whirl here. This is a Van Gogh, or as probably more correct is Ha, but Van Gogh in watercolor, and the small bowl on the floor is a set of my tubes that I was using. They were Daniel Smith's. Don't know if I'll finish that this week. I have several things sitting here that to choose from to start. Another is which is going to go on a piece of watercolor sheet. If anyone knows the model, I don't remember what magazine I got the photo from. Probably Vogue, but it's probably old, so I don't know what photographer to give credit to. Anybody can holler at me and let me know. You may have remembered the dress was red, but I'm just going to paint it the way I want to paint it and make it look the way I want it to look. My thumbnail, and I removed the masking fluid, and there's a little mouse sleeping underground there, and some, can't remember the conifers. I did a specific set of trees. Let's see here. There is a watercolor board, and I don't remember the poundage. There's my sketch, and the photographer was Pablo Villacana Lara, and I have to paint that from memory because I've lost my reference, which is fine because I was going to change lots anyway. And I have a love of painting things in motion. So this was really lovely. She was in a cloud of smoke swirling around, so I'm anxious to see what that turns out like. This large painting, excuse me, is for my son, our middle son, in his workshop. And this is really nice. I love the reference photo. I've used it for several other things. And I thought this was interesting. I'm becoming more abstract as I get older, which I find interesting because I really don't think abstractly for my art, but that's what's morphing in my style. Here is a jar of peaches that I completed. This was not my photo. This was from Carol Carter, who is an internationally known watercolor artist, and I took her class, her mentoring class on terracotta. I can't remember now if it's Go Terracotta or just terracotta, where you can get nice Zoom classes with artists, and I really enjoyed hers a lot. Here's a funny little painting I did from my son's drawing, our youngest son. This is Giron. If you know your Japanese movies, you will get a big kick out of this. It's a very funny painting. I had a lot of fun doing this. It was nice to have somebody do a drawing and I could just color it like a little kid. This was a quick painting I did with Deb Watson in one of her Zoom classes 2 years ago, I think. And I really loved this. It was really fun to do. I love the granulating colors right here. That's quite beautiful. I love dropping them in and having them bleed. And here we have Madam X. I did her several years ago, and I actually lost her for like a year and a half because we were getting ready to move, and I stuffed her behind something because she's so large and so flat that I got her lost between housecoats hanging on the wall in the hall, and I could not figure out where I had put her. So we'll see how she ends up, but I'll do a quick close-up here of her face. She had such lovely lines. Oh my goodness. She was a great subject. And yes, I did the notorious off-the-shoulder strap, which John Singer Sargent was forced to fix later on because everyone thought that was just too risque. I'm sorry, but I went back to the original. Check out John Singer Sargent, one of my favorite artists. This is a sky that I don't know what I'll do with that. I love abstract skies. We'll see where that goes. And here I have an example of things you should never throw away. Do not throw away these crazy abstracts if you get a new color and you want to throw new colors together. I have a habit of taking a small sheet of paper and throwing in new colors and doing a quick wash and bleed and charging and working to see how they hold dry edges and what the colors will do when they blend. And these can come in handy later on. You can do something with them. I think of Bigfoot every time I look at this. It looks swampy. I think it would look great with a Bigfoot back there and some trees in the background and all boggy looking. Okay, I'll do a quick little stint on brushes. I like round brushes. Round brushes are super nice for points. These are Polina Brights. These come from Australia. They are super nice. Rounds hold a lot of water, and you can go a long way, get a nice fine line at the end. I like rigger brushes. Rigger brushes are quite long, thin, and they're called riggers because they used to use it to paint the rigging on ships, and it would make very fine lines. This is commonly called a cat's tongue. Correct there for you. A cat tongue holds a lot of water. Look at that big belly. You get flats, get them loaded up with a lot of color. You can get a sharp edge and a point. You can do a lot with a cat's tongue. It's technically called an oval. You can get really big fat rounds, which I love. They're fun. Again, loaded up with a lot of water and color. Nice fine point on the end. That is a silver black velvet. The cat's tongue was also a silver black velvet. And I use these a lot. These are Da Vinci flats. They're super soft, synthetic, and they're so nice. They're made in Germany. I have two different widths. They come in handy for doing beautiful backgrounds, nice soft, really soft color blends. That's it for brushes. Now, I'll be back in a second. Okay, I was asked about paper. This is Arches 140-pound watercolor paper, and this is cold press. Now the cold press will hold a lot of water, and it has a rough surface, not a super rough surface, but you can hear this, and it bends quite easily. Watercolor paper, remember, is cotton. It's soft, so try not to dent it unless you want a deliberate dent put in it. Now that, like I said, this is 140 pound, very flexible. This, you can hear how heavy it is, hard to bend. You can actually tear this paper. You do not have to have scissors to cut this paper. You can just bend it, it will crack. You can bend it back and forth a few times. It's very thick paper, very absorbent. I enjoy 300-pound a lot. It's also very expensive, but it's worth the money. It really is. The paintings that I showed you, the sky abstract was on 300-pound because I used a lot of glazing, and that's not done. That will have many more layers. Like I said, the 300-pound paper is quite thick and stiff, very absorbent. The 140-pound is much thinner, and 140-pound is nice for a lot of things, but I have to have the 300-pound for many things that I work. I'm heavy-handed, and when I get heavy-handed, I can be rough on the paper, and the 300-pound can handle that. The 140-pound, no, it'll start to rub, and like fabric, if you rub it too hard and too much, it'll start to get pilled, and you don't want that. I don't know what I will be working on tonight. I will probably start the dancer, this lady right here, and I will film as I work along.